Welcome to the Now. I'm Ashley.
I'm Brian.
At long last, the Nintendo Switch Online service is finally coming out later this month. We're going to be able to play Switch games online like we already kind of can, but now we can pay for it.
Sweet. The online service is also going to include a feature that Switch gamers have been wanting forever. Cloud saves.
Thank you.
Yes, finally. We don't have to worry about losing progress in our games if something happens to our Switch.
Except,
There's a catch.
looks like there's some very high-profile games that aren't going to support cloud saves, and Nintendo's excuse for it is real weird.
The official word from Nintendo is that they're doing this to ensure fair play. Yeah, apparently cloud saves are the first step along a giant slippery slope that will lead to widespread cheating. Nintendo's not having it. What do you think?
Yeah, aren't the cloud saves stored with Nintendo?
Yes.
Huh.
I know.
Okay, so
Welcome to Nintendo and the internet.
here's what happened. The Switch can't currently do cloud saves at the moment, so basically you lose your Switch, you lose everything.
You're
They're
fucked.
also not saved on cartridges, so even if you are playing physical versions of games, no dice. Also not saved on SD cards, so you can't just take those out. No. They're locked onto the hardware. Something happens to that, you're boned. But that's going to change when the $20 per year online service is due to roll out later this month.
In addition to playing your games online, you'll get some other goodies too. You'll get a bunch of NES games like the original Legend of Zelda, Super Mario 3, Ice Climber, Tennis, whole lot more.
And those are actually pretty cool because
Yeah.
a lot of them are also, a lot, if not all of them, are implementing some kind of online play. So for example, the original Mario Brothers, you'll be able to finally play co-op as Mario and Luigi for the first time ever. That's
Fun.
pretty dope. Well,
Yeah.
first time
Online.
officially.
Yeah.
Online. But old school NES games aside, cloud saves are one of the biggest selling points of the new service. It's very nice to have, and it's a feature that's already available on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and Steam, of course.
Of course. But the big question, how robust will cloud saves be on the Switch? Well, they might not be as widespread as we hoped.
You were the chosen one. Game Informer and others noticed a number of big-name games are not going to support cloud saves, including some of Nintendo's own, like Pokemon Let's Go, Splatoon 2. Also, the Dark Soul remaster games, the FIFA 19, those aren't going to have it either.
That's a pretty big list of games to leave out. So, all right, what's Nintendo's reasoning here? It's going to be not good.
Well, in a statement, Nintendo of America told Game Informer and others the reason they're leaving out some games is to avoid the possibility of item duplication.
Nintendo said in certain games, this feature would make it possible to, for example, regain items that had been traded to other players.
As for something like Splatoon 2, they said they're not doing cloud saves to ensure that save data cloud backups cannot be used to unfairly affect online multiplayer rankings. Now, they said cloud saves could be used to revert to a higher online multiplayer ranking that had been lost.
This explanation, though, that might not sit very well with Pokemon and Splatoon 2 players, considering that lots of people invest hundreds and hundreds of hours into those games, and that would be pretty crappy to lose all that progress if something happened to your Switch.
Well, it's also kind of weird considering that, well, in particular Splatoon 2, it's an online game and they wouldn't allow cloud saves for that. Why aren't they keeping track of their rankings and everything just a server side?
Gotta be a workaround. But again, these games, people spend an insane amount of time on them, and in their quest to foil cheaters, Nintendo is gonna really make people's lives difficult if they lose their Switch.
And then all of this probably is going to feed into the narrative that a lot of gamers have when it comes to Nintendo, which is that it's still lagging way behind when it comes to internet and online functionality. I mean, friend codes.
Did they figure out in-game voice chat yet, by the way? Do we
as
still have to
in-
use that app?
Yep.
Oh.
Nintendo hasn't released a full list of what will and will not support cloud saves, so that leaves us kind of wondering, like, what is happening with other upcoming games? What about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? What is going to happen there?
We do know it's supported for Zelda Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey, but there are a lot of question marks, and Nintendo is not helping.
Tell me I'm not going to be able to cloud save my progress on Balloon Fight. This is bullshit.
come
I won't
on.
stand for it.
All that progress on Balloon Fight. Nintendo did make sure to say in its statement that the vast majority of Switch games will support cloud saves.
Cool.
Thanks.
CNET made a list of games that will support cloud saves based on language added to their pages on the official Nintendo site, and those include Bayonetta, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, Dragon Quest Builders, Fire Emblem Warriors, Octopath Traveler, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Kirby Star Allies, and several more as well.
Some people did notice that the does not support save data cloud backup wording has been removed after the fact from Dead Cell's NBA 2K19 and NBA Playground, so maybe those will allow it. After all, we just don't know.
Yeah, it's confusing to say the least.
To try and clear it up, a user on the Nintendo Switch subreddit even made their own script to track changes on Nintendo.com to check on which games say they'll allow cloud saves and which won't.
And like we said, cloud saves are available for PlayStation Network and Xbox Live. And look, I'm sure cheating happens there as well, but they seem to have figured out a better solution than just not doing cloud saves for their games. So it seems like Nintendo ought to be able to figure something out as well.
Or at the very least, let's save our data on a USB drive as a very last resort.
Well, I mean, that then goes back into Nintendo's, concern about item duplication, save data manipulation. I get it, you don't want to introduce unfair advantages, but maybe save some of this data server side then, like Splatoon rankings. Why would you save that locally in any case?
Yeah, it also seems like a lot of work just to fuck with your rankings. This feels like, I don't know.
And look,
a lot of proportion.
I love Nintendo and I love my Switch.
Yes.
I think it's a really great system, but this is kind of weird and I am not the only one.
No.
Needless to say, this is not going over great online anywhere else either. A Reddit user, Thomas99, wrote, "What were they thinking? They're already 2 to 3 generations in the past by making a multiplayer game store its account info client side, and now they're essentially ignoring the only remaining method of securing your hard-earned items and levels, even though you're paying to play it online."
So we'll see how this ultimately shakes out. Maybe they'll change their minds, but there are definitely a lot of annoyed Switch owners right now.
Well, and you know what? It's also not great considering they just announced their whole Pokemon Let's Go special editions, and that's all really great.
Yeah.
But guys,
it also feels like this whole online service, it's more defined by what it doesn't do rather than what it does. You know what I mean?
It does seem like a lot of the discussion about the service is in the asterisks.
Yeah, totally. Devil's in the details.
What do you guys think about some Switch games not supporting cloud saves to, I guess, protect you? Is there a better solution to combat cheating? Let us know in the comments.
And for all of your Switch and balloon fight news, be sure to like this video. If you're new around here, subscribe to the Know.
We're gonna be all balloon fight all the time.
All the time. 5-hour marathon.
Your online multiplayer ranking that had been lost.
This explanation, though, it might not sit very well with Pokemon and Splatoon players. There's gotta be a workaround. But again, these games people spend insane amount of time on,